November 11th is Remembrance Day, and November 11th, 2008 marks the 90th anniversary of the end of World War I. In Australia, April 25th, Anzac Day, tends to have more significance than Remembrance Day, and in fact it's easy to find people who think that Australia's involvement in World War I started and ended with Gallipoli. For the soldiers who served at Gallipoli and survived, that wasn't the end of the war, it was only the beginning. They went on to serve in the European theatre, where they saw much worse engagements, and more importantly for the diggers, they saw great victories. 50,000 Australian soldiers served in the Gallipoli campaign, but 250,000 served in the European campaign. While more than 8,700 Australians died at Gallipoli, more than 46,000 gave their life in Europe. And while Australians were involved in 8 major battles in Gallipoli, they served in 40 major battles on the Western Front. A lot of returning diggers didn't want Gallipoli to be particularly remembered. It was, militarily, a disaster. Whereas on the Western Front, the Australians made up only 10% of the Allied forces, yet they took 25% of enemy territory, prisoners of war, and arms and munitions. The diggers really wanted to be remembered as winners rather than losers. So while the lessons of Gallipoli should never be forgotten, it's important to remember that the Western Front was a much bigger part of Australian service in World War I. And in fact, it was the first time Australians served under Australian command. The Australian flag never flew at Gallipoli. 20 million people lost their lives in World War I. Try taking a minute out on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month and think, have we learned the lessons yet?